welcome. What we're going to talk about is an extension of what I talked about in the last live. So after I finish this live and YouTube lets me edit this, I will put the previous live here, but you can find it. It's Projector Friendships, What Do Your Friends Really Love You? And in that, there was one part that I didn't get to just because I ran out of time, which was what I mean by the term open invitation. And what I thought I would do in today's live is actually also talk about like whether invitations can expire. And this is really, really important to know. So this video today is going to be helpful for you if you are a projector who is really trying to understand this invitation thing. If you've got it nailed, you won't be watching these. But most people find the whole nuance and the complexity and this whole thing around invitations, which is our strategy as projectors, really quite challenging. So I've spent a lot of time in the last 11 years looking at it from every angle, looking at it in so many different contexts, what works, what doesn't. And so this video will also be helpful for you if you are any other human design type and you're trying to understand a projector. It could be your business partner, your spouse, your sibling, your adult parent. It could be a client. It could be your child. So if you want to understand this better, then we'll dive into it. So I'm going to cover, broadly speaking, just two things. Well, three. I'm going to do a very quick introduction to what is an invitation, just in case you are really new to it or you've heard all sorts of weird and wild things, so we can just clarify and have the same definition straight up. I'm also going to talk about, I'm just looking at my notes here, what I mean by the term open invitation, because it's a very helpful concept to understand. And it was misunderstood by somebody who had previously asked a question here on the channel. So I really just want to clarify and make sure that you understand what it means really well. And then also this key topic that I've made the title for this video of, can invitations expire? Can they end? Can invitations end? So first up, what is an invitation? If you are a projector, your human design strategy, the thing that creates the least resistance, the least friction, and makes your life work the best, is waiting for invitations. An invitation means somebody has handpicked you. They want you specifically. Okay? It doesn't mean that you respond to opportunities. It doesn't mean that you go and take your ideas and you go and make them happen. That's for different people that we won't go into today. An invitation means, and it doesn't matter whether it comes online, offline, in a text message, in a phone call, in an email, if it's the way a person looks at you, the key thing about an invitation is you specifically and individually are handpicked and you feel seen, heard, wanted, valued, recognized. Okay? And I could talk for one video every day for an entire year about all of the different ways that can look. But if you can get the essence of it, then you can apply it to all of the various situations in your life that it could show up. Now, I have a few friends, if we talk about this idea of the open invitation, I have a few very long-term friends who love me dearly and really value my projector insights. And they have said to me before, Carolyn, you have an open invitation to tell me anything you see. And if I think about it, the people who usually say this are usually projectors. They're usually my projector friends. Occasionally, I will have one of my longer term friends. I'm just thinking of some examples in my mind. So I can think of generators and manifesting generators and reflectors, friends, not so much manifestors. Manifestors, their own whole world, who have said they have an open invitation, given me an open invitation to share my insights, the things with them that might be in their blind spots. But what I notice in my body with all of them, even though I know they love me and they value me and they recognize me, I always find myself asking, I have something I want to share. Do you want to hear it? And that's a really good way to gauge, because sometimes those people just won't have the capacity to hear what I have to say in that moment. And so I'm giving them an option to say no to me, which is a very wise idea, projector. Please copy that behavior. But when I do think of, I can think of 2 long-term projector girlfriends of mine who have said to me multiple times, Carolyn, you have an open invitation to share. And so I will with them. I will share things. I will point out things in their blind spots. And they're really grateful for it. So that's what it means when somebody has given you an open invitation. And the way that this might show up for you is that you might have a friend who you are being really careful about asking for their permission to share, and they get sick of it. They're like, you, projector, and the way it would sound for me is they'd say, Carolyn, you don't have to keep asking permission. You have an open invitation. Just tell me what you see, right? So that's the context in which it'll come up, okay? Anything short of that is not an open invitation. And it is always, 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 always best to check, because as a projector, we can see, sense, feel, know, understand the other person so deeply. That's why our energy type is called projector, because our aura or our energy field is projecting really deeply into one person at a time. It is a very vulnerable experience, both for you and for the other person. Okay, and I have talked about this in lots of videos on this channel, so you can have a dig around. There is a projector playlist. I'll make sure I put that on the end screen here if you haven't seen some more of the videos where I talk about that. But it's always a good idea to just ask. Ask people, oh, I have an idea on this, or I have some thoughts on this, or would you like my advice on this? Ask them. Okay, so the main question here, can invitations expire? Short answer, yes. Yes, they can. And they do. I have had the good fortune of playing with human design for 11 years at this point, and I have watched lots of invitations come in and then lots of them fall away. Now, there can be any multitude of reasons for this. One that I don't think we talk about enough is if you're really committed to your growth as a human being, you are going to outgrow relationships. They're not going to be a match for you anymore, because vibrationally you might have been here when you met this person, and then you keep growing and you outgrow that person. And I've had it the other way around. I've had people outgrow me, right? So sometimes the invitation falls away because you're no longer a vibrational match for that person. So that's one to be aware of. But the easiest way to think about invitations really as projectors is, if you've ever heard this saying, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I find this a very useful framework for thinking about invitations as a projector, because I have found that I will have interactions with people. Now, this is going to happen more if you're a 5th line. So I'm a 4th line. I don't have many 5 lines in my chart at all, but it does happen occasionally. But mostly if you're a 5th line projector, or so your profile has a 5 in it, that makes you a 5th line projector. If you're also a projector, a 5th line. But also this will be true for you if you notice that when you look down the columns of data on your chart, you have a lot of 5s after the decimal point, okay? You may have a lot more of these people who come into your life for a reason, as in you have these interactions with strangers and you have this insight to deliver to them, and the invitation, they were really ready to hear you in that moment, and then they're gone, right? So that would be an example of a person who has given you an invitation, has opened the door to their precious heart and their precious being and said, okay, you can come in, you can tell me the things that you see. And you're there to deliver one specific message, and then you need to fucking let them go, right? They were there for a reason. It was a reason interaction. So that can happen. What I have found is that, especially as a 4th line, I have a lot of people who are more season and lifetime people. And because I am obsessed with growth, I don't have as many lifetime people because I grow and grow and grow and grow. And unfortunately, that means leaving a lot of people behind in the process. Leaving a lot of friends behind in the process over time. So season looks like I have been friends with someone for a season of time, for a period of time. Again, if we come back to this idea of when we're in a vibrational match. And so for that period of time, the relationship has felt really good. They have continued to invite me to things. They have invited me into doing things. They recognize and value my guidance, right? So I can think of a lot of friends over a period of time. And again, I'll reference, you'll see it up there. There should be a little eye in the corner of this. Can I point? Which way does my finger go? I'm doing this backwards. Anyway, that's funny that my brain can't do that. There, no. Carolyn and her humanness. In that corner, there should be a tiny little eye, and it will point to the previous YouTube live that I did. That was where I was speaking to that particular topic that we're sort of building on here. So if you haven't seen the previous one, then make sure that you do have a listen to that one and a watch. So season. People can come into your life for a season. They can be really powerful. It is really important to watch out for this. This can happen with friends. It can happen with lovers. It can happen with bosses. If you're in a job, it can happen with business partners. It can happen with clients. It's really, really important. In some ways, these are almost the most important ones to look out for, because you'll realize that things were going really, really well, and then something changes. And it might be that you leave that role, or something significant changes in the relationship for the other person, and you're being pulled in different directions. You might find that if we come back to the idea of friendships, that one or the other of you have grown too fast for the other person to keep up, or it was just divinely planned that you had this path that you walked alongside each other, and then at some point you just split off. Yeah. So my sincere encouragement for you, and hey there, Karen, nice to see you in the comments. It's really important, and my sincere encouragement at this point is, when you notice that you are in these relationships and it used to feel good and it doesn't feel good anymore, your advice and your guidance used to be valued and it's not anymore, let them go. Just recognize that the invitation has expired, and it's time for you to put your precious time and energy and gifts and attention and love somewhere else. And of course, you will have people who are those lifetime people who you are in relationship for a very, 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 very long time. And it's beautiful when you have those friendships and then there's nothing to do but just keep being present with that person and love the heck out of them and let them love the heck out of you. Now, if you want a structured process to better understand the projector, just understand the projector, I've got 2 courses. I'll put them in links in the video description. So you can see on that page, you'll be able to find one if you're very new as a projector and you're like, oh, I need to still better understand this human design strategy thing, or I don't understand my inner authority, or like understanding those basic things. And then there's also one that dives deeper into the projector invitation. And otherwise, I will put some more useful videos on the screen here after I have edited this video. Bye for now.